they come. Hey, it's Brooke from Motoworks. We're gonna show you a bike we just finished and tell you a little story. We had done a whole raft of mechanicals on this 1972 R75/5 last year, and during the process of making all the mechanicals 100%, this customer, who we've gotten to know very well over about the past year and a half, was watching a restoration that we were doing come together. This bike, also a 72 R75/5, and he became, in a very real sense, tormented by how beautiful the orange one was. And within a month of completing all of the mechanicals on his, he said, "That's it. I can't take it. Take it all the way apart, refinish everything, powder coat the frame, build the wheels that we were talking about, and let's make it beautiful." So what we're going to do is give you a walk around on what we did and a couple of other things that kind of run into the story. This bike, like all BMW's designations, if it's an R bike, the first number designates the size of the engine. So an R75 like this would normally read R75/5, denoting that it's a bike from the early 70s and that it's a 750. But because this one now has a 1000cc big bore kit on it from Rock, that makes it an R100. But there's no such thing as an R100/5. So that's the customer's sense of humor and ours as well. Additionally, in tradition, it would be a great deal more staid. It would have a more upright riding position, a 2-up seat, passenger footrests, all the normal street trim. But this is more of a hot rod and more of a cafe racer, so that's why it got a boost in performance from the engine displacement, solo seat, rear set foot controls, a much lighter weight stainless steel exhaust system that gives it a very deep, wonderful baritone roar. The very traditional engine guards with auxiliary lighting. Very cool thing with the auxiliary lighting, we wanted to tie the color of the headlight bucket and bezel, which is traditional, to the same kind of aesthetic that the passing lamp has, and make it so that he could turn it on as an option. So with lights on, you can reach under with your gloved hand while underway and turn on the auxiliary light. A very cool, very hidden kind of thing. Elsewhere, Tomaselli adjustable Clubman handlebars, very much a road racing tradition brought to the street, and ergonomics can be changed to suit whatever the rider's preferences are. The rear view mirrors are a very cool story in that there is no glass. That is polished aluminum out to a mirrored finish, and a modern take on the traditional bar end turn signals, LEDs that illuminate from the rear that you're turning right and illuminate to the front that you're turning right. Traditional, but quite a bit brighter and quite a bit safer. brand new Hagon shocks. The wheels we built from our friends at Buchanan's in California, supply sun rims that they make in-house and drill in-house, and polished stainless steel spokes. All of the aluminum castings outward from the engine cases are all blasted and with glass bead, and then vapor blasted to put a nice finish on them. It's very stain resistant to oil and gas and debris, and it is very resistant to forming any kind of oxide layer. As a joke, when we mocked up, we knew we were doing bar end turn signals, so the traditional turn signals were going to go away. So it makes it very narrow. So as a joke, we mounted his tag this way because that flat space on the fender was just kind of crying out for it. And he loved it. We did too, but we didn't think it was going to stick when we threw it at him. So it did, and it was a very nice finishing touch. He rides at night, so we didn't want to take the safety factors of having some side reflectors, but the original equipment ones, like we see on the orange one, are very big. And that was a bit much for something that's, more roadster, hot rod kind of thing. So we modified some traditional vintage Japanese ones that are mounted in aluminum so we can polish the aluminum edges. And a great deal more the things that you can't see. Solid state electronic ignition, 450 watt high output charging system as opposed to about 120 watts, what the stock system is. That all lives under this cover. And when the diode board goes away, it leaves this wonderful piece of real estate open for us to add distributed power with fuses for every circuit. So the auxiliary lamp is on its own fuse circuit. We've got USB power up to the cockpit for him, so when he puts his beautiful brand new Harrow tank bag on, he'll be able to run USB in to charge his phone and do his navigation, anything that he wants to do. So it's built as a rider. Yes, it's beautifully elegant and a bit of a showpiece, but this bike has been built to be ridden, and it runs fantastic. It's an absolute joy to ride in every way. We can build one for you too. That was my dad's knock, That was the way my dad that's the way my dad knocked on the door. Geez, if I open this thing and it's my old man.
Sorry to bother you, sir.
So the knock at the door, ladies and gentlemen, is our friend Wayne Dudley with Wayne's Auto Parts and Chroming. And in a very real sense, he's a big part of what makes both of these bikes look so good, because he and his team do all of our polished aluminum. They manage all of our chrome plating, and we take the level of polish out on these parts to a higher level than the factory ever did. All of the vapor blasting that all of these castings get are all handled by Wayne and his people, and that represents what the incredibly important power of the relationships that you have. The largest classic motorcycle event of the year is held in Mount Airy, Maryland. From New York to Florida, it's the biggest one-day classic bike event. We want an honorable mention with this machine. It should have performed better, but we feel like the judges couldn't feel like they could give us more than one class, because this machine, which we'll be doing a more in-depth story on later, won Best BMW and Best in Show, the best bike on the field. And that was quite a surprise. There we go. Nice having you in. We'll look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.